we've gotten some more accomplished very slowly. Holidays, Christmas holidays took up a lot of time. This is Thursday, the Thursday after Christmas. Got the front timing cover surface all cleaned up. Ran tap through the holes, cleaned them up. Looked at the gear teeth and the timing gear real closely. Everything looks good. I've got the pusher tool on to make sure the gear is tight because we're going to check the thrust or the thrust clearance on the crank. I've got dial indicators set up. I've got it pushed all one way. Boy, I don't know if you could really see that very well. There we go. And all pushed one way and set to 0. So what we'll do is basically take a bar, and I've got just use this bar jack handle wrapped in duct tape to protect the threads, and we'll just turn it a little bit as we bump it. Normally that wouldn't be required if the camshaft was out, but since the cam is in, I always like to turn it a little bit and move it at the same time, make sure thrust it at the same time, make sure I'm getting a correct reading. So going to set you up on the stand tripod, and let's see how this works. Alright, let's go ahead and check this. I have a feeling it's going to be out. I'm going to end up pulling the cam out, pulling that gear off, and pulling out some shims, because just when I've been moving it, it just feels like there's more than there should be. So yep, looks like we've got about 15. So, and that's probably not unusual on a manual transmission car to have some thrust wear. We'll see how many shims are in and where we can go with it. So, we'll go ahead and get the rockers off and pull the cam out and pull the gear off. Let me show you what I'm doing. I decided not to pull the rocker stands and rocker shafts off. The main reason for that is I really don't want to disturb these head bolts. Yeah, I know the shop manual says you can do that, but on an engine like this, I don't want to disturb the head gasket seal. So what I'm doing is essentially loosening up the adjusters. First, you got to make sure that cylinder is on top dead center, firing position. Loosen up, run the adjusters in, pull the push rods and pull the lifters out, and then the rocker shafts don't need to be removed. And the rocker shafts will slide over. Give me a minute here. So they will slide over. There's enough give in the spring to do that. And this is basically the same way we'll be replacing the valve seals too. We'll be using air pressure in the cylinders, and then we've got a tool that will go up under the shaft and compress the valve spring and take the keepers off, take the spring off, replace the valve seals, and go back together with it. So on these rockers on the inside, all I got to do is move it over, and I've already made sure, I've done this before. On the ends, all you got to do is pull out the cotter pin and pull the rocker arm off. And see, there's the cotter pin. Just pull it out, pull the thrust washers off, pull the rocker arm off. I've keeping everything straight. I know this is a little anal, but that's me. This is the even side cylinders, or the passenger side. I've got marked which is the front, and then I also got marked the cylinder, each cylinder, and intake exhaust. So, and that this is the top of the push rod. So as I pull everything out, I'm putting them here, and when I get everything out, I'll cover these up and protect them. And so then we'll pull the cam out, and we'll be able to get the crank gear off and remove some shims and get this crankcase clearance, or crankshaft thrust clearance, to what it should be. So, oh, one more thing. The easy way to tell if you're at top dead center, of course, you know the firing order, so you're doing this in order. Put a rod, something like that, down in the cylinder, and you can hold that, turn the crank, and you know, like say, if number 1 cylinder was the next one to fire, then when it gets to top dead center, you know, when it comes up and then stops moving, you know you're at top dead center, and that's when you want to loosen up these adjusters. So, yeah, I know it's a little bit different way of doing it. I don't know if anyone else does it this way, but again, I did not want to disturb these head gaskets. Even if I had not had to adjust the crank, thrust, or end play, this is how I would have done the valve seals anyway. So I would have done all this anyway. I just wouldn't have had to pull out the camshaft, which isn't a big deal. Since I'm pulling the cam out, I wanted to check the cam end play. And it came out right at 3, which is right at the low, 3 to 6. So we're good on that. And for good measure, went ahead and checked the gear lash, which the manual says between 1 and 3 mils, or 1 and 3 thousandths, and it's right at 1.5 thousandths. So we're also good on that. I like to check this stuff if I'm going to take things apart. So we're good there also.